Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Gauransh Astrohome. So today in the session 3 of the financial astrology course, we'll talk about natural cycles. Okay, so let's start. Okay, in the last video we discussed about solstices, and in that there is an element which I told you, from a movable sign to a movable sign, this 90 days is important. We'll take the previously derived 90 days also into consideration. Now let's start. Now see, Mercury, I told you in the last video, all the planets, they revolve around the sun. Mercury, it approximately takes 88 days to revolve around the sun. Venus, 225 days. These all quantum of days. Now why I wrote this 90? See, Mercury is exactly matching this 90. So it is 88 or 90, it is approximately matching only. These all length in days, they somehow represent the natural cycles. Earth, it takes 1 year. Mars, so if we talk about the exact time, it is 687 days, but on an approximate note we take it as 2 years. Then Jupiter, 12 years. Saturn, the exact is 29.5 years, but for an approximation we take 30-year cycle for Saturn. Now 30-year cycle is a big cycle. Then we have Uranus, which is 84 years. Now these are bigger business cycles. Neptune, approximately 165 years. And Pluto, 248 years. These all time bandwidths, they represent natural cycles. We'll also study, when we will come to the aspects, you will see that I take a 90-degree aspect, which is 90 days for the sun to travel. I also take 225 degrees aspect. Now let's come to Moon. Moon takes 28 days, and from one conjunction to another conjunction with the sun, it is 30 days. Now see, you must have read at many places, 30-day cycle is also important. Now let's talk about some more cycles. Sun Moon conjunction I have written, so I'll write it down. Sun Moon conjunction, 30 days. Opposition, it is 15 days approximately. Some will say 14, some will say 15, I take it 15 days. These all are natural cycles. So any script, now Sun Moon, I told you, luminaries are very important. So for any cycle, for any script, the 15th day, 30th day, and even the 7th day, which is almost 1/4, 7th day is extremely important for a trend change. So if we talk about, and one more thing, Moon moves, I have not taught about nakshatras. In one nakshatra, for a day. Now, if we talk about the candles which we have to take, so there is a part in this course in which we will talk about the market structure. There I will talk about this, but see the important candlesticks: daily, weekly, monthly. So this is all derived from this stuff. We can also take a 15-day candle, which is again very important. So these are some important natural cycles. There are others also. We will talk about them also. Mercury, Venus. Mercury, Venus. Conjunction 135 days. Opposition 72 days. Again I repeat, when we talk about the aspects, you will find all of this sort of things coming into picture, where we will take 30-degree aspect, we will take 60-degree aspects, we will also take 135-degree aspect. So Mercury Venus conjunction almost every 135 days. So 135 days of movement of the sun or a 135-degree aspect becomes important, because Mercury Venus conjunction happen every 135 days. The opposition happens every 72 days. 72 becomes important. So all these scripts which are having a vibration which is matching them, they will show this type of behavior. Some more. Mercury Jupiter conjunction 90 days. Matching with this stuff. So 90 days is again an important cycle. Then we have Earth Mercury. Now what I am seeing is Sun as the center. So in these calculations I am taking Sun as the center and taking the planets revolving around the Sun and trying to make some natural cycles. See, it is very imperative to understand that what can actually impact. So you must have read. So people who are GAN experts, they all talk about these cycles. That is 30 days, 15 days, 1 year, 2 years, 6 years, 9 years, 12 years. So from where does they come? It comes from this. There is one thing which I forgot. Half of the rotation is also very important. So for Earth it would be half would be 6 months. For Jupiter 6 years, 15 years. You can have a half of this also, which will become 7.5 years. 1/4 cycle of Saturn is 7.5 years. So a 90-degree movement of Saturn will take 7.5 years. Similarly, a 90-degree movement of Jupiter will take 3 years. A 90-degree movement of Earth will take 3 months. For Mars, it would be approximately 6 months. And you can calculate. So after 15 years, the cycles become really big. So there is no point of calculating. You can calculate yourself. Okay, Earth Mercury cycle. The conjunction happens every 120 days. 120 days, which we call as, when I'll teach you the trines, I'll teach you the aspects, which we call as trines. So 120 days is also important. The scripts having a vibration frequency matching this will give you some sort of reactions in 120 days, and half of this is also important, which is 60 days. Okay. Opposition 45 days. So Earth Mercury opposition 45. Earth Venus. These are all natural cycles. Conjunction it is 570 days. Now 570, if you break it down, it is 360 plus 210. So one circle is complete and then 210. Opposition 285 days. Now I have read this 285 only in one piece of paper. I have not read it. It is not, people don't take this. There is only one piece of paper. I've read a lot of books, I read a lot of material. In one piece of paper, a person, who is a famous person, is W.D. Gann, is written about 285 degrees. The movement of Saturn by 285 degrees. Now, how come this 285 has come? It is the Earth-Venus cycle. The Earth-Venus opposition happens at 285 days. It is important. So, the planet, anything which is vibrating to Venus can react to these number of days. Earth mass. Now this is simple, pretty simple. It is conjunction 2 years and opposition is approximately 1 year. Okay. Now the important, if we talk about another set of planets, which is Jupiter, Saturn, other than that, I can create some sort of permutations for Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, but 30 years is a big time. Jupiter, Saturn. Jupiter, Saturn, conjunction 20 years, opposition 10 years. Now, if you sum up the cycles from a small cycle to a big cycle, remember I am not talking about the intraday stuff. Even if you take the intraday stuff, the ascendant moves 4 degrees. In 15 minutes it moves 4 degrees approximately. So you can calculate, the 15-minute candle becomes important. Forget about it. Let's talk about the important cycles as a summary now, which is 30 days, 90 days, then we have 15 days also to be considered, then we have 90 days, 45 days, 135, 120. Now this is 210. If you subtract 210 from 360, it becomes 150. So 150 days, half a year, 6 months. Then we have an year, which is 360. We also have other aspects. You can take 315 is also one important aspect. So we have 45. If you subtract 360, subtract 45 from 360, it becomes 315. So these are all natural cycles. We will talk about it in aspects portion 2. But whenever any planet moves, any script moves these number of days from a important starting point. Now starting point, I'll take in this course the major highs and the lows as important starting points. The reason being, they got culminated due to some important interaction of planets. So let's say there's a low which has got formed. Now the formation of low will tell you that at this particular point of time, there were thoughts in the in the minds of people which took it to that point, and from there they thought it is the correct point to buy. So I told you the start, the luminaries are very important. So the luminaries will create an aura around you, and the thought process will run in the same fashion. So the prices of any script, they are actually being ruled by the people, the time and the price. So at a particular time, people will think that this is now, this has become very expensive. I can sell it off. This has become very cheap. Let me buy it. So the luminaries, they give you that aura and it is for mass. So, you know, like the moon is able to create the tide, so moon can imbibe some ideas in your mind. We'll talk about that. So, this was all in this natural cycles. We'll be using these natural cycles often in this course. So, thank you so much as of now. Have a good day. Bye-bye.